Alrighty, fellas. Good morning. My name is Patrouski. Welcome to another PokeMMO stream recap, your daily source of tips, tricks, information, and just general discussion and what's happening inside the PokeMMO community. This is a stream recap, I believe, 372, boys. We've been here for quite a while. Let's go ahead and jump into what we have to talk about today. First things first, upcoming catch events as per usual. There's a catch event today in 45 minutes. Thanks for the sub, Eric. 45 minutes, okay? There is a shiny Ditto catch event coming up. If you're watching the stream recap, I'm so sorry it's a little too late for that. This was a rushed catch event. We had very, very little time to prepare for this. Less than maybe 24 hours-ish. We had about maybe 48 hours max. Not very long. Not very long to find out about and prepare for this catch event. It is on the 12th of August, obviously, Tuesday, 12 p.m. ET at Desert Underpass in Hoenn. It's going to be a Ditto catch event. I'm going to be trying to actually ignore the Loudger and the Whismers and just go for Ditto catches. I think it's one of the niche catch events where maybe that is the better strat, since the encounter rate for Dittos is so high there, like 40% or so. And you have your nature bonuses of +5 for Adamant, +5 for Modest, and then a shiny Ditto prize. We'll see if we get lucky today. I don't know. I'm not hoping. I've already had too much good luck on the catch events. I'm not hoping for anything, but we'll see what happens. Next up, now we have a lot of time to prepare for this catch event. Thankfully, it isn't until the 24th of August, Sunday. So we have a lot of time before this event. 1 p.m. ET, Sunday the 24th of August, at Route 119 in Hoenn. I love Tropius, man. One of the most beautifully designed Pokemon, in my opinion. Tropius catch event, +6 for Tropius species bonus, +4 for Catclon and Phoebus as well. You can technically catch here for no species bonus. If you're not familiar with what a catch event is, or you're confused with what I'm saying, I have videos and guides that cover how to enter a catch event, how to submit your Pokemon, and just how to participate and also formulate your own sort of strategy. Let's keep going. Nature bonuses, +5 for Bolden, +3 for Modest. And then, dude, shiny Tropius is actually a really tough shiny. I think I saw a video pop up on my YouTube algorithm, my feed recently, of someone going for one of their hardest shunts was Repel tricking Tropius. I don't remember the name of the YouTuber, so my apologies, but whoever that was, shout out to you. I love shiny Tropius. Amazing Pokemon. Such a cool shunt, and it's so cool to see someone go for that so hard. I would love to win one for winning one for free from the catch event would be one of the best shinies you could go for. That is a fantastic one to get for free. All right, and I don't want to do it as much as you guys don't want to, okay? But it's important. It's a bright and sunny day. I want to put my smile on and play Pokemon and have fun. I do. But there is an important task coming ahead of the Pokemon community, okay? We have to decide and discuss and try to convince the devs to implement temporary incubators or not implement them in a way that the community enjoys. With an upcoming update this huge, it's very, very important to discuss it and have our opinions and our positions kind of discovered and fleshed out. I've talked about incubators to the ends of the earth on my channel. I have no interest in discussing them because you guys know my position. There's not a whole lot to discuss. I don't like them. Some of you guys do like them, and that's okay. I'm firmly on the position that what we're gonna explain the two. We're gonna read through this. Pookie made a great post explaining a lot of it. My position is I don't like incubators because I think it devalues the special feeling of getting a rare shiny too much. For the accessibility that it provides, whereas other people find that the accessibility that it provides and the benefit of more players being able to egg shunt outweighs the loss of that special feeling. Two very valid, very reasonable positions. That's the position. That's where I'm at, right? No one's crazy for thinking one way or the other. Now let's go ahead and read through what Pookie has to say, because Pookie just breaks down some of the math. He's going to share his own opinion, which he's a high-end shunter who participated in Shiny Wars. Let's read through a bit of his post. Hi, PokeMMO community. With the second PokeMon Shiny Wars ending in less than a day from this post, so obviously we're a little bit late to this, but I wanted to give us time to process this. I wanted to take the time to make a post revisiting the temporary incubator discussion. If you don't know, temporary incubators were an item that was proposed to be a gift shop, an RP item that would allow you to hatch 7 more eggs at a time on top of the permanent incubators that were added recently. With the devs deciding to temporarily disable sales until next month, I wanted to jump the gun on the discussion because this could be implemented immediately after war, a day or so, or a week after. I want to make one last attempt to generate productive discussion, and that is the name of this game with this forum post, and I think Pookie did it from what I was reading through. Everyone in this post has been mostly very respectful, somehow Pookie managed to garner some of the most productive discussion in the game on the forums, and that means so much. And he really took his time with this post and worded himself very carefully and respectfully. You gotta have so much respect for that. Let's do some math. A lot of players absolutely no-lifed this event. So far, these players, let's assume they use Flame Buddy, had Dinner Status, and average 18 hours a day. So he's about to share some extreme numbers. And some people see these and get upset. And he's trying to tell you, hey, these are the extreme numbers. He's not saying we should balance the game around these players. He's just trying to show other people who may not know this kind of part of the game, this high-end part, what's possible. I think people fight over, should we balance the game around casuals or should we balance the game around hardcore players? And to me, it's obvious. Maybe I'm wrong. To me, shouldn't it be somewhere in the middle? Shouldn't it be we try to balance both the best as possible? That's why balancing a game is so hard, because you try to balance around both. You want to balance around what is possible at the highest level of play, but then also you want your casual players or average player to have a good experience, have a fun experience. I always bring up the example of like Rise in League of Legends. Rise in League of Legends has almost been impossible to balance over the past 10 years or so in League of Legends, because he is so incredibly powerful with good coordinated high-level play in pro play. If Rise is too good, he becomes broken in pro play. He's been nerfed or reworked. Rise has been reworked like 5 times in League's history, right? If you know League, you know this, right? But he's pretty unplayable over the past, maybe right now, I haven't played League in a few years, so bear with me. But he's mostly unplayable in most tiers of play because they're so scared of him being broken in high-level play. And it's kind of a sacrifice that kind of thing makes, right? And sometimes that has to happen, in my opinion. All right. Let's break it down. 18 hours a day. This is the extreme. This is the most you could possibly do in a day. Okay, so let's keep that. Anything higher than this would be unsustainable. 18 hours a day. Even this is like unsustainable, arguably, right? Flame body under status. 60 minutes divided by 4-minute hatches. That equals 15 hatches an hour. 15 hatch cycles, not eggs. 15 hatches an hour multiplied by 15 eggs each hatch. This is with permanent and temporary incubators. That would be hatching 225 eggs an hour. 225 eggs an hour. For reference, when I was doing my egg hunt, it would take me 6 to 7 hours to hatch 400 eggs. It used to take, let me repeat that, it used to take me 7 hours to hatch 400 eggs. Now people are doing over 400 eggs in 2 hours with the temporary incubators. So we've taken something 7 hours, now it's 2 hours of time. 225 eggs an hour multiplied by 18 hours a day is 4,050 eggs hatched per day. 4,050 eggs a day multiplied by 28 days, 113,000 total war eggs. 113,000 war eggs divided by 60 dittos a box is 1,890 ditto boxes. He didn't. Yeah, that's fun. Let's do the how many dittos that is. 18. I mean, it's the same number as I guess as the year times 60. What it would be? So 1890 times 60. It's gonna be 100. It's the same thing as 113,000. That makes sense. 113,000 dittos consumed, which is just a funny thing to keep in mind. 113,000 dittos being consumed by a single player over the course of Shiny War. 1890 Ditto boxes multiplied by 350,000 Pokeyen a box. Obviously, this price can go up and down and fluctuate. That equals 661 million Pokeyen spent during Shiny War. 661 million Pokeyen divided by 28 days is 23.6 million Pokeyen a day spent to remain at high-level play. This sucks. High-level players don't like this. High-level players don't want to be spending billions of Pokeyen per Shiny War. They want to be spending a fair amount, but also they want the grinding. They want the grinding and like the hard work to show more than the Pokeyen. Now let's look at the players who grind on a smaller scale to shiny hunters. This is still this is like an insanely high scale to the average player. I would call this a hardcore player. 12 hours a day. This is just a different being, different level. 12 hours a day plus flame body dinner status. They're in the mind of when people are about Shiny Wars, they're literally, this is like the Super Bowl. This is the NFL. This is the highest level of play, right? You have to keep that in mind. 60 minutes divided by 4-minute hatches equals 15 hatches an hour. 15 hatches an hour divided by or multiplied by 15 eggs equals 225 eggs an hour. Say same numbers. 225. What are the new numbers? The new numbers are 2,700 eggs a day for 12 hours. 75. So I used to spend 10 hours a day egg hunting when I was actively involved in my egg hunt. I would spend 7 hatching, 1 hour making the eggs, and like 1 to 2 hours for box sorting, right? I would do 400 eggs a day, 420-ish, not, just ironically. We're going from 10 hours a day being 420 eggs to 12 hours a day being 2,700. And this is not me saying Sometimes people hear me say this, like, oh, just because it was hard for you doesn't mean it should be hard for us. That's not what I'm saying. I don't want things to be arbitrarily hard for the sake of them being hard. I want things to be difficult because the reason we play video games is to do something, do a challenge, and do something difficult. We're setting an arbitrary goal for ourselves. We're achieving things to feel something. Video games are not a requirement in life. They're something that we extracurricularly involve ourselves into for some sort of feeling, for some sort of emotion. If we get rid of that feeling, if the video game becomes just another part of life that we are just getting through and like sludging through and hating, then what's the point of playing the game? If it doesn't feel special, if we're just like credit card swiping and gotcha and opening loot boxes, what's the point? 2,700 eggs a day, multiplied by 28 days, 75,600 total war eggs. That's 1260 Ditto boxes. That is 441 million Pokeyen, and that is 15 million, almost 16 million Pokeyen a day. Now let's look at 6 hours a day. Okay, similar numbers. Well, I think we understand the numbers. I think we move on, but we can see them here if you wanna include them, right? Okay. Keep in mind the math above is already for some of the richest grinders in the game. People who do not use dinner status, are free to play, etc., are at a complete disadvantage. I think a big thing. I've tried to talk about how the time and I think losing the special feeling is the most important thing, but that doesn't seem to reach a lot of people, which I understand. Because the problem is I've been really bad rhetoric-wise when it comes to my arguments on this whole thing. I'm fighting from the stance of I think eggs feel really special and I want them to remain special. Most people don't have egg shinies or have never gotten an egg shiny. So they don't even, how do you even convince them of this feeling if they've never felt that feeling? I think Pookie's style of argumentation is much smarter than mine, where he's like, hey, this becomes a pay-to-win problem. That seems to connect with way more people. Let's jump into that. 8 permanent incubators can be unlocked over time through general gameplay. Yup, 7 temporary incubators can be purchased with RP off the GTL. Each temporary incubator will have 500 uses. You will need to constantly be rebuying and spending even more Pokeyen, which is not included in the above calculations. The problem is that now efficiency is directly tied to the ownership of all 15 incubators. Once you've got your 8 permanent incubators, you're still missing out on nearly half of your potential hatching power, unless you spend real money or fork over millions on the GTL for 7 temporary ones. You're at a clear disadvantage unless you buy in. Also, the problem is the incubators can only come into the game via people buying them with RP. So at the end of all of this, the devs win. The players never win with temporary incubators. Never. It is always the devs winning. And I love the PokeMMO devs. I think they're geniuses who have an amazing game, and I want them to get paid well and do well. But surely we can pay them well and make them have a good living without situations like this. This is a clear pay-to-win advantage in their game. The message is clear. You can participate, but if you want to do it efficiently, you need to pay. And this is quite literally turning Pokemon into a mobile gacha game. Once the game goes from you can play the game efficiently free to play, which I have done for over 10 years, to now you need to pay, or now it's so incentivized, like we're crossing the line, we're changing genres. We're going from MMO to mobile game, which I don't like. The last month with just 8 incubators you could hatch while doing literally anything else. Gym reruns, item farming, Ditto catching, shiny hunting, EV training, AFK hatching. Yeah, people are not talking about this as well. The permanent incubators existing, being able to hatch 3 more Pokemon at a time, and being able to go do other things while you hatch is already such an insanely powerful buff, which, you know, it's already in the game. It's here. What are you going to do? Such an insanely powerful buff. Why do we need to buff it more? It did not need to be faster. It does not need to be even faster. It is already more efficient and flexible, especially with donor status and flame body. Adding the temp incubators does not solve a gameplay problem. It creates a spending expectation not like anything we've seen before. Once 7 RP based incubators are normalized, aka the standard pace of hatching, will shift. If you're not using all 15, you're inefficient and behind. Now, not everybody wants to play PokeMMO efficiently, and I totally get that. I don't really like playing efficiently all the time. I play efficiently very, very infrequently, but I want people to have the option. I want people to be able to play PokeMMO however they want to be, right? Sometimes inefficient players will be like, oh, who cares? Like, don't play the game efficiently, blah, blah, blah. People always say, play how you want to, don't play efficiently. Acting like efficiently is unfun. What if people's fun is playing efficiently? Some people that's how they like playing. I don't like when inefficient players act like, oh, play how you want to play, but also efficiency is bad. And it's like, you're doing the same thing. You're gatekeeping the same way as an efficient player who is like, oh, you shouldn't play the game inefficiently. You're less than me if you play the game inefficiently. You're the same. It's the same problem. Long term, this hurts everyone. For starters, Ditto boxes are already 350,000 Pokeyen, and I'll just leave that there. Egg shinies will become flooded and devalued by wealthier players pumping out eggs faster than others. There's the other discussion of the shiny market, yeah, that others can keep up, and what was once a grind-based achievement becomes another thing locked behind RP. The shiny hunting system in PokeMMO has always been skill-based, to as much as it can be, and it's always been hard work-based, I think is the better way to put it. It's always been, if you saw someone with an OT egg shiny, it means they put in the work. And they still would have put in the work for this new system, don't get me wrong, but it is far less work. And that's what's a little saddening. Like, far less in one update. If this was scattered over 10 years, sure. Why are we buffing something by hundreds of percents in one update? Can you name me one other mechanic where upping something by hundreds of percents in one update was ever okay? I can't think of a single example. You already gave us 8 incubators. That is plenty. Giving us the option to buy 7 more and quietly letting them become the standard is a slippery slope that ruins the economy by inflating the shiny supply and breeding cost, making Ditto boxes even more expensive. Also, we're making Shitto boxes more expensive while not worrying about the price of good IV Pokemon. The price of good IV Pokemon is in the gutter, and the devs are ignoring that, and that's been so disappointing to me. I'm hoping that they do something about that this event season. Makes egg hunting an already expensive and late game shunt inaccessible for newer / free-to-play players. People are acting like temporary incubators are going to make egg hunting more accessible because it takes less time. But in reality, I think that there's a fair argument that it would actually make things less accessible. And that's not being discussed much at all. And it also turns a fair and flexible system into a monetized grind. My suggestion is that incubators are here to stay, that is clear, but please greatly consider reducing the amount of temps we can get or remove them entirely. My ideal solution is 5 permas in 1 temporary incubator slot. This has been my take. My take all along is 6 permanent. I think 6 permanent incubators would have been an amazing update. I think it gives you the quality of life update but also a massive buff of being able to go do things while you hatch, make hatching more engaging, while also buffing the speed of the hunt by 20%. Like a 20%, not even, but also the intangible numbers. Doing just 6 incubators would have been somewhere around like a 20 to 50% buff intangibly, due to you being able to go do other things while that is already so powerful. 6 permanent incubators alone would have been an insane buff. Why are we doing 8 permanent in 7 temporary? That is insane. It's unfathomable amounts of percentages. Sorry, I'm very passionate about this topic. This still makes egg hatching more efficient than it was, while providing the ability to do other things while egg. So he literally says my same points. I'm saying his points on a much smaller scale. It also gives the devs an opportunity to still sell a temporary. Okay, if you want to give the devs a win, I think this is fine. 1 temp. I prefer 6 permanents. I think it's better for the game. But if you want to give the devs a bone, 5 perms and 1 temp is fine. Egg hatching was efficient, accessible, and player friendly. It didn't need a boost. Okay, I will say I wouldn't agree. I don't know if I'd agree with this. I don't think egg hunting is something that is accessible or new player friendly, but it doesn't need to be. Egg hunting is literally the hardest shiny hunt in the game. Do you think the hardest raid in World of Warcraft should be doable by every player? No. Hopefully you're saying no, because that's the whole point. If everyone can do something, if everyone's super, nobody's super, right? If everybody can do the most difficult, if everyone could do the Infernal Cape in Old School RuneScape, if everybody could do the hardest raid in World of Warcraft, what's the fucking point of grinding? At that point, you're like, the whole point of playing an MMO is to feel long-term elements of progression, and that every single day you gain like 1% better, 1% better, 1% better. If everybody can do everything from the start of the game, there is no game. There is no progression. You've destroyed progression entirely. I don't agree that egg hatching was accessible and player-friendly, but I don't think it needs to be. Hard things should be hard, and that's okay. They should be earned. Devs, thank you for this phenomenal game, but let's not normalize pay to hatch, let's not normalize pay to compete, and keep the grind fair and keep the game balanced. Much love, Pookie. Thank you to Pookie for making this. I think this is a fantastic post that goes over a lot of the numbers, crunches things. I agree with like 90% of what he said. Hopefully this adds some perspective and teaches people a little more about the situation, and I want everybody to have their own opinion. Once again, I try to vehemently say and remind people, feel free to disagree with me. Just do it respectfully. That's all I ask. The amount of people who aren't understanding of why people don't want the incubators is really saddening to me. If you can't empathize and understand why someone of the other position could come to that position, that's a huge red flag to me. If you can't think of a strong argument for your opposition, your argument probably isn't very strong. Because if you can't even stand against an actual argument, you're not honing. The stronger argument your argument goes against, the strong. It's like grinding a blade against you're like forging it, right? You're making it sharper and sharper and sharper. If you are a debater, and you only argue against dog shit arguments, your blade's gonna become dull. And when it's times to actually slay that ogre, it's gonna crack against the monster, and you're gonna get killed and get obliterated in a debate. I want to end this once again by saying that there are two very valid positions here. If you think that temporary incubators make edge hunting fast enough to where it would help people want to get into it, but still the feeling of that shiny is special enough that it's also, you don't think it's pay to win, sure, that's awesome. I think that's totally a valid position. The same way that I have the valid position, many people do, I think it takes away from that special feeling. It encourages pay to win aspects, and it's not an update for the players, it's for the devs, in my opinion. But obviously, I could see arguments against. So that's where we're at. Thank you guys for listening to this very, very long intro to the stream recap. It's a very important one. This is about the future of PokeMMO. I've been playing this game for 10 years. I plan to play it for 10 more. Or sorry, I've been playing for a little bit long, 12 or 13, 12 years. MMOs can last a very long time if maintained properly. It's like plants. It's like some sort of plant, like a bonsai tree. MMOs are like bonsai trees, where if you take care of them properly, they can last centuries. However, you have to take care of them properly. And sometimes, a lot of games, a lot of people sacrifice the long-term healthiness for short-term gains. And I really don't want to see that in PokeMMO, but I hope that I'm wrong, and I hope that everything works out. So I know that we're all trying to search for what is the best for PokeMMO. I truly believe we all want that. And whatever position that comes to, I hope the best for the game. And thank you guys for putting your time and effort into discussing something so utterly nerdy, but something we care about. And there's nothing wrong with caring about anything in this world, as long as you're not hurting anybody. I don't care what you care about. Please pursue your passion and pursue your categorical desires in whatever form they may come. Thanks for listening. Let's jump into the rest of the stream recap. Yes, dude, I'm so excited. We got a lot of PvPers in chat hyped up for the VGC eventual update. Hopefully that is coming. I'm hoping it comes before event season. The devs confirmed VGC would be coming to the game, which is the official game mode of Pokemon PvP. It's a doubles format where you bring 6 Pokemon, but then only take 4 to the fight, as opposed to right now you bring 6 and take 6. And it makes things a lot more strategy-based and a lot more skill-based, in my opinion, VGC, from what I've seen. You can like counter pick and change your team style, like do trick room or not trick room. Like, it's really, really interesting. But what's brought, I always try to push this, man. If you are not a PvP player, please still pay attention to PvP updates. You don't have to like do all the nitty gritty details and look into all the but pay attention, because when a PvP update happens, metas change and the market changes. Kuroshi says it best: PvP update equals breed for profit update. I have made some of my most Pokeyen in the smallest amount of time when things like, what's a good example? When like Hitmontop got moved back down to NU, or like when Mons move tiers and are super fucking powerful in other tiers, the market goes crazy. Similar to how when Primeape became all of a sudden meta for raids last year during the Darkrai raid, right? The Primeape market went crazy, and it's like, who if you could go catch Mankeys and make insane profits, or breed Mankeys and Primapes and make insane profits. The same is true with PvP. Whenever Pokemon change tier or new things become viable because of VGC, whole new tier being added, essentially, things change. You want to breed what's really, and I'll try to make videos or in-stream recaps cover, hey, let's look at the doubles meta. I don't follow, not right now. VGC is not in the game, but I could be like, hey, let's go to the doubles metagame, and oh shit, like Politoed or Dragonite's like up crazy, or like someone brought up like Clefairy, like Friend Guard Clefairy, or like Gothitelle with Shadow Tag. There's a lot of VGC specific things that could become way more expensive and way more valuable due to that new demand. So just keep an eye out when PvP updates happen, as that is insane potential to make good Pokeyen. This is so unbelievably real, Danny, and I empathize with these players, because PokeMMO is unlike any other MMO where you have to keep changing and adapting your money making. If you do the same money making strat for 5 years or even 2 years, you're gonna fall behind. You have to constantly adapt and change. It's not like other MMOs where you can do the same thing consistently, because the Pokemon market, the demand is met quicker because of how Pokemon works. But Danny said, let me actually read your comment. I feel like a lot of people who complain about the market, not all people, because I agree the market is really slow right now, like, don't get me wrong. Some people come on the market never look for new methods and only look for some old thing that has been done to death, and it is weak because not because of the devs, but because a million players did it before them and the market is flooded. Yes, the Pokemon market consists about constantly moving on to the next thing, and I have videos trying. It's the hardest part. It's really hard as a new player. How do you know how to discover the next thing? It's really, really, really hard. I have videos that try to teach the thought process. One of my favorite videos is my breeding guide for profit that teaches like the thought process of how do you find good Pokemon to breed for profit. And it goes over, genderless Pokemon like Rotom and Metagross are almost always good. Always check the last PvP update to see what's changed tiers. That's a great way to see, like, you have to just talk to the community and see what's the most important PVM Pokemon. What are people doing right now? Right now, for example, people are preparing for raids. People are preparing fire-type Pokemon. Your Charizards, your Darmanitans. People are preparing fighting types, Hitmonlees, Primates. Like, Primeape, great example. Primeape and Hitmonlee, right? These are not powerful PvP Pokemon. You don't really see a whole lot of Hitmonlee and Primeape in PvP. I think Hitmonlee sometimes in UU, right? But like, these two mons are not, they're almost never good mons outside of Halloween raids or like specific raids. So you have to wait for those specific times and keep an eye on things. PokeMMO is a lifestyle, man. It is an MMO. It's a lifestyle. It is not for people who can only dip in every so often. It's gonna be a lot harder, man. I'm gonna be honest with you, right? Yeah, sun, rain, fighting type mons, like understanding what people are preparing right now, what people are doing is really important. Great question. A great point. All right, the event has officially begun. I'm going to throw my first dust ball. The strategy here is I'm only going to be catching Dittos personally. I don't know the best strat. That's the beauty of catch events. I don't think anybody knows the best strat. You have to spend hours prior to the event testing just for a 1 hour event with so much RNG just to do that. I don't think, most people you just go for the intuitively best strat and just hope for the best. I'm going to be catching Dittos only because it is better progress for the Ironman accounts. And then after catching 15 Dittos, I can then use repeat balls and do a little bit cheaper. So I'm going to do the Ditto only strat. I can use them the best as breeders on the Ironman account. So we're going to hope for that. On to Ditto number 2 and try to be as quick as possible clicking through. There's a lot of clicks we got to do. Ball swipe spore into ball. 3 clicks per 1 catch. It takes a fair bit. We're going to try our best to stay efficient with this event. It's a very, very important event. All right, we already have catch event results. It's been 4 minutes, 3 to 4 minutes post the event ending, the turn-in results, and that's crazy, man. I am making my eggs really quick to do a little bit of rare shunning and clean up these Dittos in my boxes on the Ironman. But from the catch event itself, in 4th place with 22 points, pretty like higher 4th place score, man. Congrats to him, MTRR. Congratulations. Some drum rolls going through. I'm gonna make some eggs while we're waiting for 3rd place. It should be upcoming though. In third place with a high score of 178. That is that plus 10 species bonus from Ditto. Coming in hot. It was FSHX Giggly. We're gonna call him Giggly. Congrats on 3rd place, dude. 178. Very, very high score for 3rd place, man. Now we're waiting on 2nd place. In 2nd place, a 179. We have Garcia with an H. Garcia with an H. Congrats on 2nd place with a score of 179. 3rd place 178. 2nd place 179. What's 1st place going to be? 181. In 1st place with a score of 186. Holy 186. Jumbo, congratulations, dude. 186 is impressive. 4th was 22. 186 is sick, dude. That must have been a 170 wild caught Ditto, and then or 171 would be my guess. And then plus 10 for species and plus 5 for nature. That'd be my guess. And he got nature. That's my guess. Insane catch for him, dude. We'll sell that for a pretty penny on the GTL, as well as winning a shiny Ditto, as well as winning 1,000 for your RP, man. Congratulations, dude. Killer once in a lifetime catch. Some said, hey, Pack, you recommend sealed product to open? My real recommendation is don't open sealed product. You are just going to lose in the long run. It is literally just gambling. Not only is it just gambling, it's once again, it's just you're going to lose hard in the long run. Now, if you want to, I can't stop you. If you want to gamble, I feel like I'm going to thank you for that properly here in a quick sec. Thank you so much, though. I feel like if you're going to gamble, you probably want to go for lucky red envelopes, either 2024 or 2025. When was the White Rabbit plush? You probably opened the White Rabbit plush product, which is Lunar New Year 2023. Excuse me. How much are those? Oh no, I'm scared. 500k a piece. So you could open those. Wow. Wow. If you invested in these, you made out like a bandit. Woo. You could go for those, or I mean, I would probably go the more recent one. What's the snake at though? The coiled snake. It's probably still like 30 mil, right? Be my guess. Yeah, 30 mil. So I actually wouldn't go for the white rabbit plush. This is 2025. Yeah, if you really want to gamble, which I don't recommend it, I would go for lucky red envelopes 2025. They're 70k a piece, and you have the chance to open the coiled snake, which is 30 mil. Now, on average, and especially in the long run, you will spend way more than 30 mil to get one of these. I've seen way too many lose. So don't, I really don't recommend it. I really don't recommend gambling. You will lose. 90% of people will lose, right? And if you have money to waste and you want to like spend it on entertainment, go for it. If you have money to waste, more power to you. Only gamble if you want to piss away. I feel really bad. I almost feel guilty like suggesting anything at all, but if you do want to gamble, Lucky Reds 2025. Okay, there's your go-to. All right, we've been live for a little 5-hour stream today, fellas. I'm feeling very satisfied by today's Iron Man progress, and also a positive feeling towards the future of PokeMMO and the direction of conversation. We have gotten, myself included, very included in that, I've gotten a lot better. We've gotten so much better at conversing as a community, and also just getting people to talk. It sounds silly, but 3, 4, 5 years ago, especially, people didn't really talk in the PokeMMO space. Between in teams and in game, they did. The forums were not as active. There wasn't content creators, like there wasn't communities, there wasn't discords aside from the official Discord. People are talking now more than ever in PokeMMO, and sometimes that creates more heated it creates more fighting and vitriol, but that's also, it's how you solve problems. And even though we're pushing through a growing period right now in PokeMMO where there is a little bit more hot-headedness, and I'm part of that. I'm an emotional person. We're all trying to get better at it. There's a little bit of that growing pains, but we're getting closer and better every day. That's what it's all about. What it's all about is getting better and better every day, and I think we are doing that vehemently so as a PokeMMO community. So keep it up, guys. You're doing a great job. Don't be too hard on yourselves, and just try to be as patient and kind to others, even though it can be tough sometimes. I gotta work on that always as well. Thank you for watching. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Dislike if you didn't. Subscribe to the channel for daily PokeMMO videos. I do upload every single day. I stream on Twitch Monday through Thursday at 12 p.m. ET. Discord's down below if you're interested in that. If you want to go above and beyond and support the channel, YouTube memberships, Twitch Primes, Twitch subs, and PayPal/Venmo is very appreciated. Also, Factor, the best way to support the stream, and you get 50% off. It's a win-win deal based on the number of factors, 50% off your first order, excuse me. And then at the end of the month, I will be doing a streamathon. 1 hour equals how many factor subs we get. Right now, it's 0. So we'll see if that happens, if what comes of that. I like to do shut-a-thons and competitions during those streamathons as well. So if you want to see some giveaways or some fun times, factor sub, best way to support the channel, supports the content, as well as hopefully gets you a good deal on a great product. So that's it for me. I'll see you guys later. Have a good night. Peace, Reno. Yo, what's up? Outro Patrouski here, and I wanted to take this time to say thank you to everyone who goes above and beyond and supports my channel. Your names are all listed here. You make it possible for me to make helpful and mildly entertaining content for the game that I love and make it available for free for everyone to enjoy. Thank you so much for allowing me to even be here.